Hello and welcome to Live with Jesse and Melva. So happy that you joined us. And Jesse's going to join us in just a second. We will go ahead and get started because I'm here and you're here. So let's go. So I want to share with you the big picture for what we're going to share today. And we're doing this series about a story of a woman we're calling Veronica and her experience of betrayal with her husband, Vernon, having repeated affairs consistently for so many times she cannot count. They've been married about 2 decades. And she loves him dearly. And he has promised time after time that after he gets caught, time after time that he is going to change. And he has not. So her story has so many different pieces and so many different layers. We decided that we would share the pieces step by step because we know that based on our work and based on even people that we know personally and in colleagues in other areas of our lives, we know that people have experienced the pain of betrayal. And if it's not affairs, it could be any, I call betrayal anytime there's a lie. Anyone who's living a lie and accepting accepting other people, living a lie, and it's going on consistently over and over and over again because that is pathology in a relationship. So the overview is that we're going to the next step, and this is we were going to do Veronica's plan, and then we realized that we skipped a step because before you make a plan, it's important to prepare for the plan, and we're going to show you how to do that this time. And we're going to show you, in showing you that step, it will be an illustration of how this tool, because each step that we're going through is a particular tool. So there will be many tools in your toolbox that you'll be able to apply in your own life if betrayal is something that you have dealt with on any level with anyone. And then you'll have an opportunity to take your own personal inventory to look at the steps that we are sharing with you with this layer of Veronica's story and Veronica's journey to see how you can apply it to yourself. So you have an opportunity to do that. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is that we'll let you know what the next step is going to be. Actually, I already told you. and then we're still inviting complimentary consultations. So we are going to be doing that for a while because we enjoy them. All right. Come a little closer, little closer. There you go. Oh, yeah. All right. So let's review our progress. Veronica's story, Veronica's journey. So far, what we have covered is we shared that Veronica created a safe space for inner reflection, because if you're going through anything and you're flooded with feelings, you have to have a space and a place on the inside to process what's going on.
Right.
And then the next step was we took her through a process of asking 4 questions about what she could and could not change. So feelings are going to manifest and be activated anytime a person is upset. When a person is happy, feelings are going to be activated. So in her case, that she became so flooded with negative feelings, she needed to have a way to manage them. So anyway, asking the questions that about what she could not change. So she couldn't change that she was going to have feelings, but she could change the way that she managed them. Mm-hmm. She couldn't change that the immediate, because the brain is wired that way to have negative thoughts when a person is upset. So she couldn't change that would happen, but she could change what she was going to do about it. And then the third thing is she could change. She could not change that she would have the urge, the temptation to be reactive. I mean, because she could lash out on Vernon like you would never ever know. So she could change those things and become more proactive. What she couldn't change was Vernon. She could not change his decision and about repeating the affairs over and over again. However, Vernon, even though we're not on that step yet, there are consequences for behavior. We'll talk about that at another time. All right, and then she decided how she wants to feel because she has to have a focal point. She's tired of being angry, so she decided she wants to feel peaceful. She's tired of feeling hopeless, so she decided that she wanted to feel hopeful. She's tired of feeling powerless, so she decided that she wants to feel powerful. So, and then she has a vision for what that looks like when she's feeling that way. And then last time we established her starting point, and that is where we're going to begin today. So, right. Any thoughts? Any thoughts? I'll keep going.
Well, I think what you're talking about right now is probably one of the most difficult and challenging things that people have who have had affairs placed on them. I mean, in other words, they have they've been hurt and have been just really upset about the fact that they have a mate that will not do what they want them to do. And so you have to decide, am I going to allow myself to continue to feel upset and angry and mad and all of that, or am I going to choose my own path?
Right. And Veronica decided she's going to choose her own path.
Right.
So let's look at her starting point, because last time she did a little personal inventory, and we invited the listeners and the viewers to try out this inventory as well. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what she did was she rated where she was in 5 areas. 1 was managing her feelings, 4. Managing her thoughts, 4. Managing her health, 4. Managing, not managing, but feeling connected to the source of a higher connection, 4. Being proactive in terms of how she responded to Vernon. So she's more reactive than proactive, 4. So when we added up her points, that she could see that her starting point is at a 20. And that, and when you look at where she wants to be, there's a gap of 80 points between where she is right now and where she wants to be. Now, and this is not something to be upset about.
No.
This is, you have to have correct information so that you know where you are, so you know, you need to know the distance. I used to, one of my favorite things when I was growing up, I was a cheerleader. And the track meet was...
And you still are.
Yeah, right. And one thing that I enjoyed was track. And so when people, and you ran cross country. So there was a starting point from where you were,
right,
and there was distance between from where you were to where you wanted to be.
Right.
So when you have that information, you know, okay, this is what the journey is going to be in terms of or the distance. So it's so important to know. And And to know that so that you can be real clear about what action steps you need to take to get there. So for cross country,
Mm-hmm.
what you knew for sure was between where you started and where you needed to be. What was that? You knew that if you started over here and you needed to get over there, what was it that you realized you had to do?
Well, I had to clear that distance between where I started and where I wanted to end up. And uh, so I had to work very hard at doing my very best to manage my time and my distance and all of that sort of thing. And I'm glad to report that in my first and second year in high school, when I ran cross country, uh, I managed to letter in cross country, and it felt really good to me to have a letter where I was better than a number of other people. Now, if any of you, now, now, if any of you,
This absolutely does apply to Veronica.
right now, if any of you were in high school with me and ran cross country, I don't intend to put you down because you didn't run as fast or as long as I did. Um, so it's one of those things. I was good at distance, and I was not as good in uh, some of those long sprints and so forth.
Yeah. So for Veronica, is cross country. It's not the relay. She won't be passing the. See, I do know about that.
Hey, go ahead, honey.
I was a cheerleader for track.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, but we said all that to say, wanted to give you a metaphor for what it's going to take for Veronica to prepare for the distance that it's going to take to get where she wants to be. So when Jesse gave the example just then, what he was including was it's how important it is to be intentional and how important it is to be consistent, to do the same thing over and over again. So in terms of thinking, the thoughts, the thinking has to be in alignment with the plan, with the goal. And Veronica is very clear about her goal. I mean, she has a lot of other goals, but she's just focusing on one at a time. And this is her feeling state that she wants to experience throughout her ordeal right now. It's also important that her action steps are in alignment with reaching her goal for going the distance. So being intentional and being consistent. Many people have said, no, I think Tony Robbins said this, that repetition is the master teacher. So to accomplish anything, to be successful with anything, you have to do it over and over and over. Because what a person was doing before, what Veronica was doing before, over and over and over, just getting upset and experiencing the same thing over and over again, did not work. She still wasn't taking care of herself. All these different ways that she wasn't taking care of herself didn't help her get through it. It just created more pains and she experienced deeper wounds. So why is it important to be intentional and to be consistent in terms of working the plan? Because once you have a plan, then the next step is to activate the plan, to take the steps to make sure that you're successful in implementing the plan. So the part of the preparation is for Veronica to know in advance why she needs to have this alignment. The first reason, the first why is having a plan. You know, it's like having a structure. I remember, and I think we mentioned this on one of our other calls years ago when we were doing some work with Arnold Patton, and we were out in Scottsdale, Arizona, and there was a social psychologist who worked with big corporations around the world. And I love um, how he explained his work. I mean, it was just 3 steps. One is to shift from chaos. He helped organizations to shift from chaos. And he said to structure and then creativity. So we adapted that to shift from the chaos of what Veronica is experiencing right now to the structured and safe environment where she could reflect. So she needed to calm down, have a space where she could calm down. And in that space, to be able to honor every single thing that she was feeling and be compassionate for herself, because we know so many times that when people are upset about the situation and maybe how they dealt with it, sometimes they give themselves a hard time.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're their worst critic. And that is the case for Veronica. So that's the first why. So the second why is in that safe space, it gives her time to focus on her vision. And her vision, and she's keeping it really simple, to feel peaceful, to feel hopeful, and to feel powerful. So that's the second why. And then the third why is that it keeps her focused on the results that she wants, you know. So she's focusing on the vision, and then the results that she wants, that's going to come with the plan and the action steps that we're going to talk about next time. And then the fourth why, big why, is that it keeps her feeling connected to that outcome. Because there's something about, because sometimes we can have like the results that we want in our head, but we don't always feel connected at the heart level. And so every time she took that space and she was in a meditative kind of, I mean, she could meditate on her experience and moving through it in a place where she could really tap into her heart's desire and also feel connected to, she could feel connected spiritually. Now I know in one thing that we learned about years ago when we were first coming together as a couple and took all these classes. We took a lot of personal and spiritual growth classes, and one concept that we learned way back then that we still enjoy is called the mastermind concept, developed by Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich and Laws of Success and that kind of thing. So when Veronica is feeling connected, now the mastermind principle is that when two people are together, there's a third individual presence, and we all know what that's who and what that spiritual presence is in her support system. So she can really do it just being in meditation and reflective state to just tap into feeling connected to source. So that's the fourth why. And then the fifth why is a reminder that she has choices. All right, I'm getting ready to date myself. I don't care. So
this is a big deal, guys. This is the big deal.
So don't nobody be looking nothing up. So anyway, so here's the thing. There was I remember growing up, my family, well, my mother and my sisters, and I think, let's see, were my brothers born then? Anyway, we used to enjoy game shows, watching game shows. So one of the game shows that we enjoyed a lot that stuck with me throughout life was Let's Make a Deal. Where you, so those of you who have not heard about that, there's 3 choices, there's 3 doors. So between either door number 1 or door number 2 or door number 3, there was a big prize. And so so people would try to correct the right door, right? Well, for Veronica, there's only 2 doors and she does not have to guess. There's door number 1 and door number 2, or path of the path most traveled. Who wrote that book? I'll think about it in a minute.
Yeah.
The path most traveled, and that's the times that she was reactive over and over and over, the knee-jerk, spontaneous reaction. So that was one choice. Or she could choose to be proactive. And what I mean by being proactive, I mean taking strategic action to stay on track in alignment with the outcome that she wants. So she has a choice. Now, her brain is wired to be tempted to yield to the first choice because it's familiar. But now that she's conscious, she can make a choice, and she's intentional too. She can make a choice that's going to support her to have the success that she wants in dealing with the situation with Vernon. And, you know, I'm just thinking about it right now. She's dealing with betrayal with Vernon. This is like a repeat of other times in her life before she even met Vernon that she experienced betrayal and didn't have a effective way to work through it. So we have a question. So now it's your turn. So in terms of the starting point and having a big why, so our question is, where is your starting point in those 5 areas that we mentioned? Now, we went through them last week. And so if you would like, you could review that session like we're in a counseling session. You could review that recording. That's what I'm trying to say. You could review that recording, or you could look at the slide that has the 5 areas. Where are you in terms of managing emotions, managing negative thoughts, managing health? Because we know that one thing that goes out the window is when people are going through stuff, they don't take care of their health. And then where are you in terms of feeling connected? And where are you on a scale of being proactive, proactive instead of reactive? And what is your big why? You know, we gave you 5 for Veronica. What would be your big why for wanting to make a change that is going to support you? What we know for sure is that when you know your starting point and your big why, you then put yourself in a position to become the change that you want to see. Now, of course, Veronica wants to see a change in Vernon. I mean, she through all of this, she loves this man, but she has settled. She has settled for him hurting her year after year after year. So it's important to know your big why, and her why is big enough now for her to make some choices.
You know, I'm thinking as you're talking that it just may be that what Vernon is wanting in terms of what he's wanting to experience and achieve may not necessarily be the same that what Veronica wants to express or to feel, and that if Veronica stays focused on Vernon in terms of what he's trying to achieve, there is the possibility that she will never achieve what's important to her. And we're suggesting that she needs to stay focused on her vision, her life, what it is that she wants to achieve, and allow Vernon to do his own. That he doesn't necessarily have to, or she doesn't necessarily have to follow his dream, but that she can follow her own and experience the wonderful things that the divine has for her, and and not get sidetracked by being sidetracked by what he's wanting to accomplish.
Yeah.
So it's important, I think, it's really important to stay focused on what it is you want, what it is you want to achieve, and stay focused on that and allow the universe to bring to you that which is your greatest desires.
Absolutely. And part of the plan that we're going to talk about next time is that Veronica taking care of herself is not saying to Vernon that his behavior is okay.
Right.
She's making the foundation strong for herself, so that when she's ready to make her presentation to Vernon, it is focused, it is grounded, it is solution based, it is vision based. So think about your situation in terms of how what Veronica is doing and the process that she's going through. And you can, and as you can see, I mean, this is session number 5. I keep calling it a session like I'm in a counseling session. But anyway, this is part 5, you know, in terms of the journey. And the reason why we're taking our time is because we want all of you to know that we know that this is not a quick fix. It's just not a quick fix. It takes time. It takes thoughtfulness. It takes strategic planning, and it takes support.
And it takes commitment.
Mm-hmm.
It takes commitment. This is not the kind of thing that you accomplish or achieve overnight.
Right.
So this, I will just say that in connection with what you're saying.
Yeah.
That I guess it goes back to something I said a moment ago. And that is, if you're really committed to achieving the goals that you have sought out to achieve, then you got to stay committed to those goals and allow yourself to work at it and do what you need to do in order to fulfill that and make that happen.
Yes.
You know, but I'll give another little quick example. When I was running track, it didn't make sense to me for me to go out on the track and sit down and wait for something to happen. It didn't work that way.
And you get the last word. So what have we covered this time? We shared Veronica's story. That was good. Veronica's story, part 5, preparation to bridge the gap from where she is to where she wants to be, and how this tool supports her because she has a focus and a big why, and gave you an opportunity to look at this template for yourselves. And so next time we're going to talk about the actual plan. And we're extending an invitation to you for a personal consultation if you would like a jump start in your journey toward, you know what, our company is called Personal Transformation, to your own personal transformation, no matter what you're dealing with. And we're dealing with betrayal right now. And if you want a jump start in using the principles and the tools that we have shared, feel free to contact us. Go to our website, Johnson Relationship Institute for Couples.com /contact us. And all you have to do is put in your name, the email address. We'll get the email. We'll set up an appointment, a free complimentary consultation to meet with you to help you to get that jump start. So we're still doing it for a while. And so we'll be happy to talk to you. So, and we also want to thank you for joining us again.
Yes.
We just love doing the series. And this is one of the ways that we have figured out that we can support couples in all kinds of relationships, because you know what, the tools that we are sharing with you can be applied to other relationships as well, at work and what have you. But our specialty is working with couples, and we know that these tools are adaptable. We will see you next time. Thanks again for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye.
watch Live with Jesse and Melva right here on Solivity TV every Sunday at 5:30 Eastern. Solivity Magazine brings you the best in inspiration on Solivity TV. Check out our new shows. Mark your calendars for Solivity Magazine shows by going to Solivity